Hello, dear colleagues, dear guests. Welcome to today's session on water resources in the Turkic world. This is one of the most important issues, I think, in Central Asia, water issues, and it's also relations with the energy equation. It is one of the significant dimensions of the energy problems in the region, hydropower. It is not only related with energy, but also about economy, about social relations among countries in the region. So today, with our distinguished guests, we will be discussing the wide-ranging impacts of changes and the dynamics in the water resources in Central Asia. So to begin with, I would like to introduce you our guests. First, Omirbek Hanayi. He is an expert in working in Eurasian research at Eurasia Research Institute, and he will be talking about China water projects in Central Asia. This is a very grave concern in the recent years and decades even, and a significant political problem in the region, an emergent problem. And secondly, Dr. Alexey Kobzev from Kazakh-German University. Welcome also to Alexey. And he will be talking about, I think, Central Asia's water issues in general, and maybe about his research. And thirdly, we have Dr. Tuğba Evrim Maden from Turkish Water Institute, which is the most significant water research institute in Turkey, an official institution, and she will be talking about the Turkey's transboundary waters. And last but not the least, we have two colleagues from University of Sindh, Pakistan, Bakhtsawr Talpur and Sıraj Nizamani. And we will be listening to their perspective on transboundary waters in the Southwest Asia. So to start with, I will give the floor to Mr. Omirbek Hanayi. I would like to highlight that each presentation should be limited to 12 minutes, more or less, in order to give some floor for the Q&A session, questions and answers. So, Mr. Hanayi, floor is yours. Omirbek Bey, buyurun. 12 dakikalık süreniz var. You can share your presentations with the share button below the page. Mikrofon kapalı Omirbek Bey. Mikrofon.
Şimdi açıldı, evet, değil mi hocam?
Bir saniye, gelmedi şu anda.
Sesim geldi mi şimdi?
Sesiniz geliyor, sesiniz geliyor. Sunuş gelmedi.
Sunuş
Siz
gelmedi.
Başlayın anlat. Yok. Siz anlatmaya başlayın, girişi yapın. Yavaş yavaş onu da ekleyin. There is sometimes a gap, a lag between sharing command. Yes, it's coming now.
Şimdi gözüktü değil mi?
Yeah. Yes, evet.
Herkese merhaba. Bugün bu toplantıya katılan herkes için çok teşekkür ederim. Bugün ben Çin'in Doğu Türkistan'daki su projelerinden bahsetmek istiyorum. Çünkü Doğu Türkistan konusu her zaman önemli bir konu olarak geçiyor. Hepiniz de eminim. Ve oradaki Çin'in enerji projelerinin dışında enerjiyle bağlı olarak su projeleri de önemli yer alıyor. Bugün iki tane projeden bahsetmek istiyorum. Birincisi İrtiş-Karamay-Ürümçi Kanal projesi. Bu proje 1997 itibariyle başladı. Son 20 yıldaki Çin'in en büyük ve en gizli projesi olarak tanımlanabilir. Çünkü şimdiye kadar bu proje değişikli birkaç adla isimlendiriliyor. Şimdi İrtiş'ten su temini projesi, 635 projesi, 505 projesi, batıdan doğuya su transferi projesi gibi çeşitli adlar var. Çünkü Çin bu projenin daha uluslararası alanda daha çok duyulmasını istemiyor. Onun nedenlerini de sunumumuzun son bölümlerinde değineceğiz. Şimdi bu projenin ismiyle ilgili Çin'in basın kuruluşlarında ve kitle araçlarında çok duyulmuyor. İsmiyle gizli. Bu 2009'da oraya gittiğimizde çekilen bir fotoydu. Şimdi buradaki bu belgenin sürüldüğünü duydum. Ve ERTİ nehri Çin'den başlayıp Kazakistan üzerinden Rusya'ya kadar uzanan bir nehir. Toplam uzunluğu 42.248 kilometre ve Çin'deki kısmı da en azı 593 kilometre. Ama Çin bu İrtiş Nehri'nin suyunu iyice kullanmayı çoktan planlamıştır. Bu İrtiş Karamay Ürümcü projesini az önce de anlattım. 1997'de bu proje başladı ve bu proje kapsamında Doğu Türkistan'da İrtiş Havzası'nı geliştirmeye projesi inşaat yönetimi diye bir devlet kurumu kuruldu. Bu şimdi komite düzeyinde olan bir kurum. Bu projenin tüm planlaması, tüm inşaat sürecini bu kurum üzerinden yönetiyor. Ve 2000'de de bu proje Çin'in Ulusal Kalkınma ve Reform Komisyonu tarafından onaylanmış. Ve 2009'da da bununla ilgili bir Çin'in genel planı gündeme geldi. Bu proje kapsamında İrtiş Nehri denilen yılda 3 milyar metreküp suyun çekilmesi öngörülmekte. Bu proje şimdi burada Ülüngür diye bir göl var küçük. Oradan başlayıp Karamay'a kadar ve Karamay'dan da Ürümci'ye kadar, Ürümci'den şimdi Kumul'a kadar geçmekte. 3 aşamalı proje olarak. Ve projenin 1997'deki verilere göre proje bütçesi 18 milyar 204 milyar yuan. Yaklaşık 3 milyar dolar olarak planlanmış. Ama şimdiki projenin 3. aşamasındaki proje bütçesiyle ilgili bir bilgi bulamadım. Ve bu proje kapsamında 5 su barajı, bir hidroelektrik santrali ve 8 su tüneli ve 2 su pompa stasyonunun yapılması planlanmış. Ve bu projenin ilk 2 aşamasında yapılacak inşaat projeleri. Bunların hepsi şimdi yapıldı. Bu proje kanalın en başlangıç noktasında olan 635 numaralı su barajı, özel bir ismi yok. Sadece bu numarayla veriliyor. Ve onun yıllık kapasitesi de 248 milyon metreküp olarak öngörülüyor. Doğu Türkistan'ın Altay bölgesi Burşun ilçesinin yanında yer alan bir su barajı. Ve o kanalın ilk kısmı da Ertiş'ten Karamay'a su temini projesi. Ertiş'ten başlayıp Karamay'a kadar geliyor. Bu tamamen bitti. Şimdi kullanıma verilen bir proje. Kanal. Onun toplam uzunluğu da 840 kilometre. Ve kanalda çok büyük yapılmış. Bazı yerlerde üzeri açık, bazı yerlerde tamamen kapalı olarak yerin altından geçiyor ve bazı yerlerde o kanalın üzerine yol yapılmıştır. Ve bu da Dinsan su barajı. Bu Ürümci'ye çok yakın bir yerde yapılan proje. Bu da kullanıma verildi. Şimdi bu projenin 3. aşaması olarak Ertiş'ten Kumul'a kadar su çekme projesi var. Önce Ertiş'ten Karamay'a, Karamay'dan Ürümci'ye, Ürümci'den de Kumul tarafına su temini projesi devam ediyor. İnşaatına başlamış ama hala bitmemiş. Ve Çin'in Doğu Türkistan'daki ikinci bir büyük projesi o Tibet'ten Doğu Türkistan'a su temini projesi. Bu proje şimdi planlanma aşamasında. Bu projeyle ilgili de S4679 diye bir araştırma planlanma grubu oluşturulmuş. Böyle bu numarayla isimle. Bu projenin de ismi değişikli adlarla adlandırılmaktadır. Batı Su Temini Projesi diye de geçiyor bazı yerlerde Kızıl Bayrak, yani Kırmızı Bayrak NRO projesi olarak da geçiyor. Şimdiye kadar bu projenin öngörülen bütçesi 400 milyar yuan. Bu haritadan gördüğünüz gibi Tibet'teki Yarlungzangbo nehrinden başlayıp bu kanal Çin'in birçok bölgesinden geçerek Doğu Türkistan'a giriyor ve Doğu Türkistan'da Taklamakan çölünün kenarından önce Hotan sonra da Kaşgar'a kadar uzanıyor. Toplam uzunluğu da 6188 kilometre olarak planlanmış. Ve bu projeyle ilgili Hindistan tarafının da bazı endişeleri ve tepkileri ortadadır şimdi. Ve Çin neden Doğu Türkistan'da böylesi bir büyük projelere adım attı dediğimizde onun birkaç amacı var. Bu haritadan gördüğünüz gibi Doğu Türkistan Çin'in en büyük enerji üretim üslerinden biri olarak tanımlanabilir ve oradaki enerji kaynakları genelde 3 büyük havzaya ayrılıyor. Birisi Congar havzası, ikincisi de Turfan Kumul havzası olarak ve üçüncüsü de tarım havzası. Ve Çin bu proje su projesi kapsamında Karamay, Ürümci yakınlardaki endüstri bölgelerine su temin etmek ve kanal gözergahı üzerindeki toplam 140 bin hektar tarım alanında sulandırmak istiyor. Ve ikinci şimdiki bu İrtiş Karamay Ürümci projesinin 3. aşaması olan İrtiş'ten Kumul'a su çekme projesi kapsamında da Kumul şehri çerçevesindeki endüstri bölgelere su temin etmek planı var. Ve yukarıda bahsettiğimiz bu Tibet'ten Doğu Türkistan'a su çekme projesi kapsamında da tarım havzasına çerçevesindeki endüstri şehirlerine, endüstri bölgelerine su temin etme planı var. Ve bu ikisini de birleştirerek şimdi Doğu Türkistan'da daha çok nüfus konuşlandırma planı var. Ve bazı bölgelerde Doğu Türkistan'ın nüfusunu 2050'ye kadar 50 milyon insana yükseltme planı ortadadır. Ve Çin'in bu su projelerini...
2 dakika.
Tamam, zaten sonuna yaklaştım hocam. Çünkü Doğu Türkistan Çin için çok önemlidir. Öncelikle enerji açısından Doğu Türkistan'ın enerji rezervlerinin Çin'deki payı çok yüksek. Bu tablodan iyice görebiliyorsunuz. Ve Çin, Doğu Türkistan Çin'in en büyük pamuk üretim alanlarından biri. Ve üçüncüsü de Doğu Türkistan şimdi Çin'in batıya açılan bir penceresi ya da kapısı olarak görev alıyor. Bu yüzden de Çin Doğu Türkistan'daki endüstri bölgelerini daha çok geliştirmek, oradaki insan sayısını arttırmak, Doğu Türkistan'a olan kontrolünü daha da sıkı düzeye getirebilmek için bu tür büyük su projelerini başlatmıştır ve bazı projeleri de şimdi planlanma aşamasında olan küçük su projeleri de var. Onlardan bahsetmedim. Şimdi tarım nehirle ilgili de Kırgızistan üzerinden, Çin'den başlayıp Kırgızistan'a geçen tarım nehri üzerinde de bazı projeleri var. Onlar küçük çaplı olduğu için ondan anlatmadım. Bu projeler önümüzdeki dönemde sadece Doğu Türkistan için değil, Orta Asya bölgeleri için de etkisini yansıtabilir. Çünkü Ertiş Nehri uluslararası bir sınır aşan su. Bu Ertiş Nehri'nin suyunun Çin'in böyle bir kullanması Kazakistan'a da bazı olumsuz etki yaratabilir. Ve Tibet'teki Yarlongzangbo Nehri'nin suyunu çekmesi de önümüzdeki dönemde Çin ile Hindistan arasında bazı anlaşmalıklara neden olabilir diye düşünüyorum. Ben sunumumu bu kadar yapayım. Kendim bir su uzmanı olmadığım için sadece böyle
sorularla da açabiliriz. Bölgeyi bilmeniz çok önemli bir bilgi. So we can unfold your presentation more in detail in Q&A session perhaps. Now I want to give the floor, not to waste so much time, to Alexey Kobzev from German Kazakh University. Alexey, we are listening to you.
Thank you so much for invitation and to give the floor for me. Now I can share my presentation. Share screen. Yes, just a moment. My presentation here. So as this Congress, its connection also with most of all with energy questions, energy issues, and also is now our session is related to water sustainability. It's also my presentation. It's direct involved in the issues capacity building of specialists on renewable energy and water sustainability.
We cannot share. We cannot see Alexey. We cannot see the presentation.
Okay, just a moment. Okay, now.
Let me see. Yes, it's coming.
Yes, I only open on the whole screen. Now it's good. Yes.
Perfect. Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And my presentation is capacity building of specialists in renewable energy and water sustainability. And really, renewable energy is also the sustainability of energy use, energy consumption, and energy production. Okay. And what I would like to present is, first of all, it's our key approach. Key approach, it's also, first of all, is transfer of knowledge, because transfer of knowledge is the main factor in our world, especially in pandemic or quarantine, is to connection different people and to sharing information and to create a new knowledge. There's also next is research support and capacity building, like not only the formal education but as additional forms of education, and of course it's field research and political improvement. Its key approach is to use the results of variant programs and projects to promote other directions. Now we can see that really this nexus approach to using and thinking about different types of resources, natural resources like water, energy, food production, etc. It's really, we cannot to see this these resources is separate. It's a separate table, for example. Yes, we need to use thinking about these resources in general, and only this way to sustainable using these resources. What is the tools we use? First of all, it's master program integration of water resource management. This is the first special integrated water resource management program in Central Asia. It's established. It's more almost 10 years. 10 years, and now it's we in the start of the launching the master program on renewable energy and energy efficiency. And it's really is also a unique program for Central Asia and for Kazakhstan, because as I know, only one university has the same, but not the same program in solar energy. But this is a program specialized in the full full name of this program is strategic management in renewable energy and energy efficiency. And most emphasis of this program is to capacity building specialist in the sphere of management. It's not only not only for engineers. Next, it's GIZ and remote sensing research, because now if we work with water resources, land use, and also in energy, we also need to use geo information systems and also other techniques. Next is transfer of knowledge and technologies from Germany, because as you know, Kazakh-German University is the most active developer of German standards in Central Asia. Yes. Next is involvement of Central Asian universities, but not only Central Asian universities. And now we have strong relations also with different universities, especially also thanks Dr. Vakur Sümer. Now we have also the connection with some Turkish university, and we participated in different conference, other conference of which organized some Turkish university, and also we with honor to invited to participate participants from the different Turkish university and research institutes to participate in our meetings and our conference, and we really be open to present our knowledge and to open to cooperation. It's something about the field research. Yes, except the formal education. Now we have also its field research. For example, this is example of one of the expedition from glacier to Aral Sea. It's really the 4,000 kilometers from the peaks of Tajik of Pamir and Tian Shan, and go through all Central Asia, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and finished in Aral Sea, near the Aral Sea, in this Kazakh part of Aral Sea, and it was also the summer school. Yes, it was really exclusive expedition and events, and different directions also was under research of this expedition. It's impact of climate change on the water resources in Central Asia, water ecosystems, water and agriculture, transboundary cooperation, water and energy, and social and economic aspects of water management. Next, our approach is transfer of knowledge. Transfer of knowledge, it's also a connection with different parts of techniques, different instruments. For example, some students prepare the mobile applications to identification as much as water we use in everyday life. Yes, or some mobile applications connection with how we collect and utilization the garbage. Yes, and also one of the project is EcoTalk Incubator. It's organized some of my colleagues. It's every year program for invitation youth who would like to develop any project with eco. Yes, it may be eco suits, eco different projects connection with environment. And during the program, it's my colleagues and also some colleagues from European Union and different Central Asian and European Union program gives advices and lectures to promote eco-business projects in Central Asia, to create these eco-business projects and to establish the structure of project management, etc. It is a big project, KAVA project. Yeah, I think it's maybe you know it's so long time. It was realized in Central Asia, and it's only I give only short information. It's part of this project. It's project with German research institutes and universities. It's a seasonal
Alex, 2 minutes.
Yeah?
Can you wrap it up in 2 minutes?
Okay. I got ready. Yes, KAVA is seasonal runoff forecast and drought monitoring. It's regional hydrometeorological monitoring. It's Central Asia waters networks, etc. And now you can see these are the subjects of new master program in renewable energy and energy efficiency. As you can see, this is typical subjects which also teach in German university. And this information about master program IWRM, it's program for all Central Asian countries, include Afghanistan, and also one of approach in this program is Nexus approach. Yes, and this is pictures from our renewable energy trip, renewable energy expedition in 2019. It's also a participant from all Central Asian countries, and we have this expedition in 4 Central Asian countries: Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. And also we visited different places: Kızıldağ, Ujant, etc. This is Tashkent also. Yes, and this new expedition, it's 2020 renewable energy trip. Now you can see this the map of the first part from Almaty till Kızıldağ. Despite the quarantine restrictions, we will have the opportunity to conduct this expedition. And this is the second part. It's the circle near Astana, Nur-Sultan. Yes, and also it's more than 11 solar, wind, hydropower stations we visited, and in the end of this expedition, participants prepared it's more than 10 cases of renewable energy. And we visited also the mosque in Nur-Sultan. You know, it's the first in the world energy efficiency mosque, and you can see it here. Yes, and this is all. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kobzev. It was an interesting presentation, and it was good to listen to your research and activities. I think in the future we will be in more and in deeper collaboration. Now I want to give the floor to Dr. Tuğba Evrim Maden from Turkish Water Institute, and she is going to tell us about the Turkish transboundary waters and the Turkish perspective on transboundary waters, I guess. Yeah, so Dr. Maden, the floor is yours. Your microphone is muted.
Okay, it's
yes.
Okay, I think.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Sümer, thank you for giving me the floor. Today I will speak on, as you said, speak on transboundary waters and the hydropower potential of Turkey. First of all, I want to give brief information about Turkey's water situation. Turkey's mean annual precipitation volume is 450 billion cubic meter, and the amounting of the 219 billion cubic meters evaporate, and while 45 billion cubic meters leak into the aquifers. Turkey's gross potential to equal to 231 billion cubic meters. Considering the economic and the technical constraints, the annual operable water potential is 112 BCM, billion cubic meter, and Turkey uses approximately 50% of her water potential. Turkey's total water consumption in Turkey is 57 billion cubic meter in 2018, and it corresponds nearly 51% of water potential, as I said before. Turkey is perceived as a water-rich country, but in reality, Turkey is not a water-rich country. According to the DSI, the annual amount of the water available per capita is 1,346 cubic meter per capita in 2020. Considering the Falcon Mark indicator, most of the water people know this indicator. Turkey, in the light of this fact, considering the Falcon Mark indicator, Turkey is under the risk of being a water scarce country. Turkey is divided into 25 hydrological basins in line with the EU Water Framework Directive. Most of the basins have the potential to generate hydroelectricity, and in some cases a water basin may be the subject to more than one country's interest. I think this is the one. One of the important issue when we are talking about the water resources in the world. As it is known, there are transboundary waters in the world along with the national waters. What is the meaning of the transboundary waters? Transboundary waters means the aquifers and the lake and the river basins shared by two or more countries. And these basins support the lives and livelihoods of vast numbers of people across the world. Due to the United Nations data, 263 transboundary lake and river basin covers almost half of the Earth's surface, and 145 states have territory in these basins. And also there are approximately 300 transboundary aquifers. Diverse transboundary river basins span 151 countries, include more than 2.8 billion people. And what about the Turkish transponder water? What about the Turkish transponder water potential? Turkey has 5 transponder waters, river basins, north to south, Çoruh River Basin, Aras-Kura River Basin, Euphrates and Tigris River Basin, Orontes River Basin, and also in the west, Marisa River Basin. And Turkey's transponder water potential is nearly 66.37 billion cubic meter, and it is the represent the 38.9 of Turkey's water potential. Just a moment. And I want to also give a brief information regarding Turkey's policy regarding the use of her transboundary basins. First and foremost, Turkey considers water as a source of cooperation among the riparian countries. Transboundary river basins have their own characteristics, and each case of transboundary waters reflects specific regional, economic, social, cultural, and historic aspects. Therefore, transponder water issues should be addressed only among the riparian countries without intervention by the third parties. This is one of the pillars of the Turkey's transboundary water policy. Each riparian state of transboundary river system has the sovereign right to make use of the water in her territory without giving significant harm to other riparian countries. Transboundary waters should be used in equitable, reasonable, and optimal manner. I should mention that Turkey is not only the upstream countries in some basins. For example, Marisa and the Orontes River Basin, Turkey is also downstream country. Turkey is always open to cooperation with the riparian countries regarding transponder water issues and pursue her transponder water policy under this principle. And when we evaluate the energy production in the world, we recognize that fossil resources have the lion's share. Hydropower has 16% share. Hydropower is currently in over 160 countries. According to the International Energy Agency, only 33% of the world's hydropower potential has been exploited. This is the this is the Turkey's situation in electricity consumption per capita. Turkey's total electricity generation is 288 terawatt hour. Electricity consumption per capita is 2.4 megawatt hour per capita, and these countries selected random. I want to mention it. And also, share of the renewables in electricity production is 32% in Turkey. China is the #1 in the energy production from the renewables. Turkey's installed capacity by resources, in percentage terms, like the world situation, fossil resource share is the highest in Turkey. Hydro is the second. Turkey's installed capacity, when we in percentage terms, I give now the latest data. Out of the total power generation, renewable energy accounted for nearly 43%, and with the hydropower plants at 26%, wind at 8%, and solar at 4%, and the geothermal at 3%. Turkey, after Norway, has the second highest hydropower installed capacity in the Europe. And what about the transboundary basins? Transboundary basin actual installed capacity of cover nearly half of the hydropower capacity of Turkey. 46% of the hydropower is produced by transboundary basin, especially Euphrates and Tigris at the Çoruh. And Euphrates and Tigris and the Çoruh basin hydropower potential is 97% of the all transboundary basin. The capacity of this basin are important not only for Turkey, also important for the region they are located in. It is Euphrates and Tigris hydroelectric potential is 81% in all transboundary basin potential.
Can you wrap it up in 2 minutes, Dr. Maden?
Of course. Also, the Çoruh River Basin, 50% of transboundary basins as hydroelectric potential. And you know, the Southeastern Anatolian project is located in the south part of the Euphrates and Tigris Basin within the scope of the GAP project. Construction of 22 dams and the 19 hydroelectric power plants and the irrigation networks are planned. With the completion of the gap, it's envisaged a large part of the country's energy needs will be met with the 27 billion kilowatt hours of hydroelectric energy production per year. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. You are faster than I expected to finish. Actually, you had some 1 or 2 minutes more, but thank you so much. So now the turn is Bakhtsavr's, Miss Bakhtsawr Talpur from University of Sindh, and she is going to be presenting a study on the effect of water security on human development and on global nexus water metrics and sustainable development. So Bakhtsawr Talpur, we are listening to you. Floor is yours. You have 12 minutes. Your microphone is muted. Yes, okay.
Now it's fine?
Perfect, yeah.
Yes, okay. So, it's not working. Okay, I would like to thankful for the International Turkic Energy Cooperation Congress that they have given me the chance to present my paper on the effect of water security on human development, study on global nexus, water metrics and sustainable development. So here I go with my presentation. This is the layout of my presentation: introduction, historical background, theoretical framework, purpose of study, objectives, and conclusion, and the references. So start from the introduction. As we all know that water security hits many developing regions of the world. There is now a renewed interest in understanding how growing threats to water security affects future progress in human development and economic growth of nations. So water as a crucial and relatively rare source plays a key role in the creation and the maintenance of human security in relation to the environment. Humans may rely on such groundwater-related ecosystems for the food and energy production, health and recreation. For example, groundwater is used to irrigate nearly 100 million hectares of the arable land and accounts for over 40% of the global consumptive water used in irrigation. For these reasons, groundwater is intrinsically linked to various aspects of the human development, including poverty eradication. The global debate on water development and growth. The debate on the linkage between water, growth, and development is growing strong internationally. While the general view of international scholars who support large water resource projects is that increased investment in water projects such as irrigation, hydropower, and the water supply and sanitation acts as an engine of growth in the economy, while supporting progress in human development as well. Human security is a paradigm in which security is defined by the needs of individuals rather than those of states. It takes into account the changing nature of international security, where new threats come from non-state actors, and the international economic system is moving toward multipolarity. Increasingly, human security has also come to emphasize the relationship between the environment and society. So in that role, water plays a crucial and relatively rare resource, and in the creation and maintenance of human security in relation to the environment. In fact, it is the human security aspect of the water scarcity which seems likely to cause security threats both nationally and internationally. And what are the challenges for the science and society, as water insecurity poses a threat to human well-being and ecosystem health across a range of measures? Almost 4 billion people are projected to live in severely water-stressed basins by 2050, according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Baseline Environmental Outlook. Food security for a population of more than 9 billion in the 2050s is expected to strain water resource and expose 2/3 of the population to shortages in the irrigation water supplies needed to the reliable food system. Inadequate institutional capacity and infrastructure increase vulnerability to such threats. So therefore, it is concerned with both chronic pressure and extreme events. Concepts of the risk and vulnerability have become increasingly attractive for the framing measures and informing responses to such challenges and for the bridging discipline and scale. Water is facing a crisis today. Water scarcity affects all the social and economic sectors. There are concerns that water will increasingly be the cause of violence and even war. So water is recognized as one of the key limiting resources of this millennium. Approximately 700 million people in 43 countries suffer as a result of water scarcity. Nearly 1 billion people lack safe drinking water. Half of the world's 500 major rivers are polluted. 75% India's lakes and rivers are too polluted for the safe use. The total amount of water on the earth is about 3 to 6 million cubic miles of the water. The needs of the water rise along with population growth, urbanization, and increases in the number of household industrial uses. Historical background: water security and risk in a divided world. The rapidly growing interest in water security and risk has been accompanied by a focus on water's relationship with poverty and development in the context of the Millennium Development Goals and the climate adaptation. As Gray and Sadaf argued that regions with more complex hydrology require higher level of investment in institutions and infrastructures to achieve and sustain water security, particularly to manage hazards associated with hydrological variability. This work has been widely referenced and influential in the academic and policy resource. Gray and their colleagues revisited this earlier argument to propose categories of the water security based on the two dimensions: hydrological complexity and investment in water security risk reduction. These dimensions divide the world on the basis of water-related hazards associated with the hydrological complexity and the capacity to respond. So pathways of the water security are expected to vary across these diverse settings. The present preview considers the available evidence for these propositions and outlines some gaps in our understanding of the key causal processes linking water security, development, and human well-being. What is the theoretical framework? Impacts of the water insecurity. The impacts of the water insecurity include the consequences of the climate hazards and of inadequate water for basic needs of the people, food, and ecosystem. Metrics of the climate risk capture exposure. For example, population, acids, and vulnerability, propensity to experience harm to hazardous climatic events. The population living in the food plan is a common measure to exposure to climate hazards, whereas vulnerability refers to the underlying social and economic conditions affecting adaptive capacity. So observed and moderate losses from the climate hazards inform the selection of the threshold levels of the hazard frequency or severity associated with intolerable impacts, as the proportion of the GDP economic losses from the natural disasters are higher in developing countries than in the developed ones. The expansion of acids at risk places middle economic countries at the higher risk, whereas the much of the 1% of the population was lost following climate extreme. It is well established that the link between water scarcity and international security is hotly debated. The threat of water wars is a bit overstated, but the threat of international conflicts driven in parts by water is not a threat but a reality. So as the water quantity and quality decreases in the region, the stability of the area decreases as well. This is due to the many facets of the water, its effects on the economy, society, health, and the politics. Additionally, the Nile River in Africa, much of the southern Asia, the Balkans in the southeastern Europe, upper South America, are all areas where new dams are under construction, and neighboring countries face increasing water demand, may lay workable treaties, or worse, than having discussed the issue. Indeed, if two countries have agreed on the water flow and distribution when there is a dam upstream, I'm sure that there is usually no conflict. Cooperation over water is up to 2 times more likely than armed conflict. So, the conflict over water is not restricted to human consumption. There is a global threat to biodiversity in many of the world's river systems, and the risk of species extinction is moderate to very high, 70% of the transboundary river basins. In addition to the environmental variability and the lake of treaties, other factors leading to conflict include political, economic instability, and armed conflict, the analysis shows. So at the same time, it is clear that the role of science and expertise cannot be denied and underestimated. The positive outcomes of the integration of the traditional knowledge and practices with the recent technology and scientific knowledge are the promising and essential. Good practices in irrigation drawn from the experience of the local farmers, traditional knowledge obtained through a nature-based solution approach in the rural development, local experience constitute good models and practices for the water security. So the purpose of this study
Bakhtsawr Talpur, can you conclude in 2 minutes, please?
So yeah, sure. I just want to say, purpose of this study is to get the very essence that water security risk reduction requires governance, capacity, and collective action at multiple levels to study, plan, finance, and implement measures that reduce vulnerability to water-related hazards. So the type of governance arrangement employed can vary considerably across response to the inadequate water supply and sanitation, climate hazards, and other water-related hazards. It has been demonstrated that primacy of geographic determinants of the growth and water security institutions do matter. So institutions are defined in the broadest sense of the term of the human device constraints, structuring human interaction with one another and with the natural environment. So this study further helps in finding the ultimate ways that how water resources are of strategic importance and have contributed to conflict in many regions. But we consider that the handling of water resources should be the tool for the shared prosperity and peace. Water security, as all the security issues, is a matter of global leadership and commitment. A leader sets a clear vision for the organizations, motivates employees, guiding through the work process and build morale. Without good leadership, security can never be achieved. Thank you so much. These are the references.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much. Bakhtsawr Talpur.
Yes,
It could be also interesting to hear the situation in Pakistan,
yes, sir,
with regards to transboundary waters. But first, I want to thank again for all the presenters, and I want to give the floor for questions. So there is a question from Cengizhan Canaltay, Deputy Director of the Eurasian Research Institute. The question is directed towards Dr. Kobzev. Cengizhan Canaltay asks, could you give us your perspective on the effect of climate change over the glaciers in Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan? How valid is this argument for short and medium term? So what is the impact of climate change on glaciers in Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah, thank you for the question there, Chingiz Khan. I think that now I don't have the time to give the full pictures of influence, but I can give some numbers and factors of influence. First of all, it's unfortunately most of specialists have the agree that project changes include the following and this increase the temperature. For example, increase in average annual temperature.
Bakhtsawr, can you mute? Bakhtsawr, can you mute?
Okay.
Can you mute?
Okay. I continue. Increase the average annual temperature of about 2 degrees across the region by 2050 is unfortunately is the most likely scenarios. And for example, 2 example ranges for 2085, it's about 2 till 5 degrees increase, of course, for Kyrgyz Republic, and 2 until 5.7 for Tajikistan. Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan have this most of all glaciers in Central Asia, and of course this temperature will influence. And also the project changes in precipitation is variable across the region and highly uncertain. There is no agreement between specialists now on overall annual trends. Except for likely increases for Uzbekistan, it's around 12 to 20% by 2085, and slight decrease by Turkmenistan. However, along with the increased concentration of rainfall in winter months, a higher frequency of heavy rain events is expected for the region in general. And most of all specialists has agreement that region is likely to experience increased incidence of drought and lengthened dry spells. Higher temperatures will increase evapotranspiration, leading to drier conditions, even if precipitation does not change. In any way, if we don't prepare any conditions and strong conditions for decrease the temperature or decrease the greenhouse gas emission production, it will I think it will go to very negative impact for Central Asia, and of course with glaciers of Central Asia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have completed the questions, but I have a slight question for Dr. Maden, if possible. How would you evaluate Turkey's position vis-a-vis international water law, such as the 1997 Convention of the on the transboundary waters? Is there any efforts for becoming part of that convention as part of the EU negotiations, or because you are in the kitchen of these water policies in Turkey, more or less? So I'm wondering, because we have sometimes difficulty in reaching the documents, etc. So first-hand information would be highly appreciated.
In the future, if you are asking for the European Union, you know, European Union, not the party of European Union is not the party to the 1997 United Nations Convention. Only some of the members of the European Union. You know, Turkey is, we know Turkey is one of the candidate country for the European Union. After becoming a member of the European Union, Turkey will be party to 1992 Helsinki Convention or UNEC Convention. I think this is my, of course, this is my own opinion, but in 1997, I think it could, yes, it tried to solve some problems regarding the transboundary issues, but for the recent issues, especially the climate change effect and also groundwater issue, it couldn't answer this question. Maybe I think maybe all the countries can create a new international document for the transboundary waters, because you know, the climate change effects on water is very, very important, and its impact is very high. And with this convention, it's not easy to solve these kind of problems. Yes, of course, this kind of conventions advise countries to cooperate. But as I said in my presentation, Turkey's in the Turkey transboundary water policy, one of the important pillar is the cooperation among the riparians. Thank you for the question, Dr. Sümer.
Okay, I think there was a internet connection problem we have. Thank you so much for clarification, because there is so much discussion about this issue, as you know. So sometimes these types of clarifications could be very useful for the general public. So I think we have close to the end of the session. I want to once again thank for all the presenters for their invaluable contributions. And I would like to kindly remind you that we will be editing a book out of the papers that you would be sending to us in the first half of April. So if you are able to send your full papers of your presentations, then we will be able to publish it as an edited book by the end of April. So thanks again, and have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.